All right, everyone. I'm here with our famous sugar roti. Do a cooking demonstration. As all of you know, you've seen me cook over the last year, but I haven't done this. I really haven't done this very often, which is to cook live on social media. But I was very excited to try out the sugar roti spice blends. And I'm gonna kick it over to my friends. Bina, if you wanna, Bina and I go way back, like more of the years than we want to probably tell you. But let's just say, so a long time ago, but the last millennium. So Bina, if you wanna introduce yourselves and before we get cooking here.
Yeah, hi. We're so excited that you're doing this with us. I'm Bina and this is Dana.
Hi.
We are, we started Sugar Roti last year, 1 year ago. And the reason we started Sugar Roti was we wanted to give everybody an opportunity to cook, have fun, add spices back into their lives, and not worry about all those spices, measuring salt, how much do I put in? Does my dish always come up the same or is it always different? We created these packages that are always going to be consistent when you make curries, but not just curries. You can make so much more. So we've basically taken sort of these rooted spice blends that are from my Indian culture and modernized it. So you can make the curries, but you can also make, you know, shepherd's pie, mac and cheese, fish tacos. So Yep.
Yeah, they just empower you to be creative. It really just breaks down barriers. I mean, they are delicious in any recipe you can imagine. And I am the low bar here. I'm not a great cook. And they really are transformative. They're so easy to use. They're beautiful to cook with. And the dishes that they make are absolutely delicious.
Yeah, you know, the thing about Indian food is very intimidating for people that have never cooked it before. Even for me, someone that not only grew up eating it, but has cooked it before. Obviously, during the pandemic, I've gotten into another level because I'm just cooking a lot more. But even now, like I'm still not at a place where I have to measure things out and I have to be really put a lot of thinking into it that can stress you out. And so the one thing I like about it, and I go through some of the packets, is that there's such a variety. And as you two mentioned, Indian food, I mean, you think about fusion, you think about Indian food influences, it's across the board. And so you can have, now they have, pizza that's Indian pizza. You have obviously Chinese food and Indian food. That fusion has been happening for a very long time, one of the favorite foods in India, but it's got an Indian flavor to it. So you can make, if you're making Chinese food, you use one of these spice blends, you add that Indian style cuisine to it. And you can do it really with any kind of cooking. I've shown folks on, people that watch my social media, I cook eggs, and I love to use Indian spice with eggs. And you can see some of the spice packs. We'll go through some of them as we go forward. But here's the one that I'm excited about trying next weekend, which is
one of my favorites. Yeah, right? So good. It's so easy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of you know I'm vegan, but I use just eggs. In fact, I'm going to show it to you. Let's see.
It's really.
I mean, and that's the thing with all of our spice blends. Even the meat-based blends, the spices themselves are vegan, so you can always use a protein substitute.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great thing because especially those of us that grew up here, I was certainly not vegetarian growing up, and when you're in the mood to try something that you grew up eating, you can do that now because especially in the last 3-4 years, plant-based meats have gone through the roof. There's so many options; they taste so good. And obviously, if you do eat meat, then there's a variety of spices there. But what I use is and this is actually made out of mung bean, which is basically dal. It's made out of lentils. Essentially, is the main protein, and it cooks like a scrambled egg. And so I'm really excited because next weekend I'll use this. I'll just kind of like fry up, chop up an onion, tomato, whatever veggies, bell pepper, whatever I want to put in there, and then I'll throw this in there and then mix it up with the egg. And so that's what makes it really easy, especially for those of you that haven't really cooked Indian food. There's an opportunity. So maybe I should get started cooking.
Yes. While you're cooking, we wanted to also let people know every single one of our packages has the recipe on the back of the package, and that's the traditional Indian curry dish. And then you can go on our website and we have so many, over 70, 80 recipes
Amazing.
that you can follow. Or what we really want you to do is just create your own sort of dish and share with
Exactly.
us and share with our community. Like, here's what I created with sugar roti spice blends.
Yeah, so Ash will look forward to hearing about your
those
scrambled egg
eggs.
dish
Yes.
with
I
the
will.
egg.
I'll share that as well. But when
Yeah.
I'm looking at the ingredients here, and this is for the aloo gobi, the potato, aloo gobi, alu's potato, gobi is cauliflower. It's a very traditional staple dish. I think many of you that have gone to Indian restaurants have probably tried it before. And that's why I wanted to do this, just because it's a very accessible dish because people are familiar with it. And so, but I look at the ingredients. I mean, these are the ingredients that I would use making aloo gobi. And so the convenience factor is already there. You can tell, again, especially for those of you that are new, but even those of you that aren't, if you don't want to go buy 8, 9, 10 bottles of spices, and we know how expensive spices be, if you don't want to spend 40, 50, 60 bucks just to get, one spice that you might use once or twice a month, instead you can use one of the packets. And the ingredients as well as the directions are in the back. So the ingredients to make, yeah, on the back of the packet, the ingredients to make it and the directions are there. And, I'll give it, and the great thing about Indian food is you always have the base, and this is basically the base. And that recipe is the base recipe. And you can add your own flair to it and all that. And the more you cook Indian food, then you get your own sense of kind of how you like it. If you like it spicier, if you want to, use cilantro, which is one of the optional items here, which I do have and I am going to use because it adds such a freshness to it when you're done making it. And so I'm going to start right now by heating up some oil, which is the basic beginning, I think, of a lot of dishes. And so I'm going to.
And then there's also a QR code, so you can just scan that and it'll take you right to our website for more recipes for that particular package.
Oh, so that's like the one standard recipe, but you have other recipes for each package?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have this amazing dish that Dana came up with, which is a cauliflower bake. It's awesome.
Nice.
And you bake it. Yeah, it's so wonderful.
So easy too. Again, delicious and
like
easy.
At least 6, 7 different dishes that you can make with that particular package.
See, what I love about that is that when I have things like cauliflower bake, which is very tasty, being Indian, it usually needs more spice. It's a little on the bland side, right? If you just go to a restaurant and get a, so it's like, let's make it that same kind of comfort food dish, but then add our own flavor to it.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Well, and again, that's the idea here too, is like everyone has sort of their own comfort food. And we really want you to try our blends in all of your own favorite dishes because they just, again, transcend any sort of one dish, which is the idea here. You see on the back is sort of the hero dish. But then when you go to our website and you look at your own recipes, they really just make anything absolutely delicious.
Yeah. And all you need is the fresh ingredients, oil or ghee. But if you're vegan, you're probably going to use olive oil. And then our package.
So easy.
That's it. You're never going to have to open the cupboard and go, okay, let me get all those spices out and let's start measuring. You don't have to worry about that. Each package, the recipe serves 4 people.
Okay.
That's the beauty of our blends as well, is that we do include some whole spices, which, not only does it make the flavor better, but it's also beautiful to cook with.
And then
there are fresh chilies in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow,
and then
they look so good.
I know, Rash. And then these packages are 100% compostable. We are definitely considering the planet in everything we do and make sure that that's key.
Oh yeah, you can already smell
it. See, it's blooming. The smell.
Out of habit, I was gonna grab some cumin seeds, but I look in there and there are cumin seeds in there. So
exactly.
Everything's there.
No grabbing anything.
Yeah, you don't need
one-stop shop.
Yes, this package has not only does it have the salt covered for you, it has cumin seeds, it has ground ginger, it has turmeric, it has coriander, cayenne, garlic, and then a chili pepper. So yeah, add in the onions.
I already chopped my onion, and my dad and I, especially my dad, likes a lot of onions. in his cooking, which is good. Definitely adds a lot of flavor. But, you know, it says optional chili pepper, so I think I'm going to chop up a serrano or two.
Yes.
First, mix this up. All right.
I would say with this dish too, you know, while, you know, people have different tolerances for spice, where you're using kind of a starchier ingredients like the cauliflower and the potato, it does take away some of the heat from a serrano. So it's a really nice balance where you still do get that heat without having being overwhelming.
Yeah. I didn't cut the serrano, but I can do it fast.
And, you know, you can always take the seeds out of the serrano to cut down a little bit of the heat as well and still get the taste and sort of flavor profile.
And I think the other thing we love about this is we've made it easy so you can have conversations with your family and friends as you're making it. You don't
Yeah,
really
just
have
like
to,
this.
yeah,
Here we go.
have
Yeah.
some wine, have some beer, and like really have fun while you're making a home cooked meal at home. You're adding the cauliflower next. We just want to remind everybody that not only are these packages easy to use to make Indian curries, and then more importantly, any dish you desire, but we really wanted to also make, you know, be a company that does good. So our package, you know, our spices are all organic. Our packages are 100% compostable, and we only want to work with partners who kind of have the same mindset. We want to be very inclusive.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. It's really important to us to work with people that we like, which is obviously very important to Bina and I as partners, but also just like-minded business partners, vendors, everyone involved in the company. It's very important that they have the same values as we do.
Yeah. And it's about having fun.
Absolutely.
Eating some delicious
creating
food.
Community.
Yes, creating community, sharing.
Meeting people, and just, again, being a very positive force in the world is really core to what we're doing and why we're doing it as well.
Yep.
No, it's great. And so folks can order, well, let me show you some of the spices, some of the packets here. So we have chai. So Dad, I can use this to make chai now. And so chai. There's khichdi, which is a really good, like I remember growing up, I would eat that when I was sick.
Yeah.
Really good comfort food and very simple. And when I look at the ingredients, very simple ingredients. It's spot on. Again, there's lamb, scrambled egg I showed earlier, lentil, and I've been using my Instant Pot, so maybe I'll try this out in the Instant Pot to make dal. Lentil is dal.
Yes.
Fish, egg. So egg is different than scrambled because you can make an egg curry also. There's a different kinds of egg curry.
Yeah. Egg curry or flatbread, like we were talking about.
Yeah, the pizza. It's absolutely delicious.
Yes.
So I actually feel a cinnamon stick in this one. This is the beef one. So I remember when I was younger, I would eat everything. I remember eating keema, which is like a ground meat. So I'm going to try making this with the Beyond Meat. They have ground meat, and it's all plant-based. So I'm gonna try to make it. It's actually something I look forward to trying to make.
And Ash, we have that recipe on our website. It's called lamb kofta. It's in there. So just go. Yeah. Awesome. Got you covered.
Yeah. Vegetables. This is like any kind of vegetables. Tofu.
We have some great tofu recipes on our website as well. Don't be afraid of tofu.
Yeah.
And chicken. So chicken, this one, of course, is garbanzo bean, so chickpeas, chana.
Very chole, which is the chickpea, the very traditional dish, or you can turn it into a hummus.
An amazing hummus. It's absolutely beyond, yes. You'll never go back to regular hummus.
Yeah. And you can get all those packages and more on our website, www.sugarroti. It's sugar and then ROTI.com.
How did you come up with the name Sugar Roti?
Okay, well, Sugar Roti is it's a perfect name because not only is it have traditional roots to a lot of Indian families, but also it describes our company. So it started out way back in the day when I was a young kid, and my grandmother used to be making rotis, and she would sprinkle it with sugar and then roll it up and give it to us, and it was a perfect
A
dessert.
little bit of ghee.
Yep, a little bit of ghee. And then
butter.
many years went by, and I was at my mom and dad's house, and I noticed my nieces and my nephew were all lined up when my mom was making roti, and they were asking for sugar roti. So I just felt like that was a name we had to go with. It also sort of describes the simplicity of who we are, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and you think about what we're really representing here is that you have just a very few simple ingredients, but when you combine them together, you make something that's really extraordinary. It's that whole idea of, you know, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Mm-hmm. Sugar, ghee, a roti, and it's just this delicious, lovely gift of, you know, a simple treat, but it really it resonates and it represents so much more, which is really what we're doing with sugar roti.
Yeah, it represents family, eating well, memories,
traditions, a gift, time together, health and wellness, all of those things.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, there's just such an abundance of beautiful vegetables now at farmers markets. You know, you can get asparagus, you can always use Brussels sprouts, you can use, you know, obviously broccoli. There's just so many. Yeah. And there's really, again, anything works. It's really just up to you to see what is fresh and beautiful and looks good and, you know, sort of appeals to you in the season.
Yeah. Like fava beans are in season, and we use the garbanzo beans to turn that into a fava bean hummus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like garbanzo beans and lentils are the two most common proteins in Indian food. Right. The great thing about California is we have the choice of every fruit and vegetable and being under the sun, so you can substitute stuff in.
Right.
You know, you can make, like when I can make zucchini, or I can use turnips. Like, you know, whatever looks good and looks fresh at the store. It makes it so easy.
It does. Although, I mean, and that's so true. And again, you know, our recipe is, you know, use obviously canned garbanzo beans, but this is the fun now that, you know, as hopefully for most of us, you know, we're sort of coming to the end of COVID, but to be able to have the opportunity to get out and to support local farm, you know, sort of farm to fork and all these great farmers markets. There's just so many beautiful fresh vegetables out and fruits right now. You know, there's really, they're perfect for our recipes and our blends.
Yeah. My other favorite dish is okra.
Oh yeah.
Vegetable spice to do that.
Yep.
You can add potatoes if you want a little bit of starch, but the vegetable spice is perfect.
Right. And black-eyed peas, that's another, again, you know, it really taking sort of these different cultures and layering on the beautiful traditional Indian spices. They, you know, just create this alchemy of flavors and textures that are wonderful to cook with and are, again, delicious to serve.
We made a gumbo.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
Amazing.
Using our spice blend.
Yep.
Yeah. And that recipe is also on the site. You can check it out.
I love gumbo.
Yeah. It's perfect. Well, now that we're getting into summer, we also have a lot of salads. Like we have egg salad, or you can make,
chicken,
you know,
salad.
A chicken using a protein, you know, an alternative protein based one, the chicken salad. We also made tuna fish salad. Yeah. So, or you can use, you know, something else with that, but they're so delicious and they're so refreshing. Maybe use the vegetable one to make a potato salad. Yeah.
We have a great Brussels sprouts recipe. I mean, and even the tofu blends, so many people have this contact sort of reaction to tofu. And we've found some amazing recipes, but just our blend coupled with tofu, it really does transform it. It's so delicious when you add all these different ingredients to the tofu. It's you know, and also that's a perfect example of a blend where you can add anything to the tofu. And again, going back to the seasonal idea, you know, asparagus is so easy to saute and add to your tofu with that blend. We have a soba noodle and tofu, and it's so healthy and easy.
Well, I love the recipe, the basic recipe, especially again, even for me, it's still kind of intimidating to try new dishes, Indian dishes I haven't done before. So for those that haven't cooked, just follow the recipe. It's simple.
Yeah.
And the spices, like I tell you, when I was blooming the spices, whatever you call it, you can see them all. I mean, it's such a variety of spices.
Yeah.
And it's very fresh. Oh yeah, see?
It looks beautiful.
It has a color, and then of course one of the optional items in the recipe is also some cilantro,
Yes.
which I do have, and I'm going to chop up right now.
No dish is complete. No Indian dish is complete without cilantro.
I know.
Plus, it looks great. Yeah.
So good for you. So it adds such a nice flavor.
Yeah.
Yes. It adds a freshness.
So I like the tomato, the cilantro, it adds a little color.
Yeah.
Right, and this is so great, Ashes. You're doing exactly what we want you to do, is to just use whatever is in your pantry and make it your own recipe and your own dish.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy, but
Wow. Ash,
Oh,
that's so
well done. Yes.
beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I wish that the camera was working.
I know, me too.
You guys see, but Facebook apparently it's not working.
Oh, no.
No.
Well, we can attest that it's beautiful, magnificent. You get an A.
We also made it, and like this is what ours look like without the tomatoes.
Oh, let me see.
Look at that. See? It just,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's just.
Right.
Hi. Yay. And you got it done, Ash, in 45 minutes.
Yeah, and honestly, if we weren't chatting, I probably could have shaved 10, 15 minutes off because normally you're just cooking. But
Yeah.
it was worth it to have a conversation. But
And you had fun. Exactly.
Yeah,
You had
super
fun
easy.
doing it.
Yes.
no, it's super easy, and the reality is that when you're doing it, you can save a lot of time. For example, when the potatoes are cooking, in that time you can chop the cauliflower. Right? There's always when you know that you have to simmer something, you use that time to do other steps, and so time gets collapsed. And like in real world cooking, when you just come home and have to cook, you can really collapse that time down.
Right.
Yeah. It's fun. So don't forget to visit us at sugarroti.com. That's sugar, ROTI.com.
Sugar roti.
Sugar roti.
Yeah, and share your ideas. Share your recipes. Please, yeah. We're all better together. This is a great community, and we're empowering each other.